Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name's Kennedy and I make videos about grad school and things that grad students go through, particularly me. And so today I thought I would share some tips on how I'm managing my time during quarantine. No one planned for this and I now have more time on my plate than I ever had before, but I'm still supposed to be productive. And so these are just some tips that I have that have helped me stay on track thus far, and I thought I would share them with you. But before I go any further, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment down below if you have an idea of a video you would like to see on my channel. So my first tip is to put down your phone. I know we have a lot of time on our hands and we want to spend it connecting with others through the internet, through social media, but a lot of what's on social media, especially that relates to what we're going through right now, might be really negative, and it doesn't help your motivation to actually get stuff done if all you're hearing is doom and gloom news about the state of the world right now. And I know that is kind of harsh, and I'm not saying you shouldn't use social media at all, because it's a great way to connect with your friends, and also like there's funny memes and stuff. But generally, putting down your phone and focusing more on the stuff you have at hand, or being present with people in your house, and if you don't have anyone else in your house, FaceTiming or communicating that way with other people might be a better use of your technology. So my second tip is to utilize your calendar and come up with a weekly goals list. I don't like to think too far out, but I do put things that have a set due date on my calendar when I get them, so I know when they're due. But every week I look at my calendar, see if I have anything upcoming that needs planned attention, and I come up with a list of things that I want to get done for that week. So if I have a lot of things going on at a time, I will designate certain days to do certain things. So let's say on Tuesday I know I need a tutor, or if I have an abstract to send in, by Friday I know I need to work on it at least twice during that week, and what day am I going to send it to my PI to get his approval before I send it in. Those kind of things. And so coming up with a weekly to-do list or a weekly goals list is really beneficial for keeping you on track. So my third tip is to make a daily to-do list. And this is important because it kind of keeps you organized for the day. Not kind of, it definitely keeps you organized throughout the day. And so there are two types of lists that I make. I either write them on my cell phone or my computer, or I put them on paper on like a sticky notepad like this. And I either have a time slot sort of to-do list, meaning that I start usually around the time that I make the list. And so if that's 10 a.m., then my first time slot is 10 a.m. And then I write every hour until the end of the day, or however long I need to plan out for, of what I need to get accomplished that day. And that keeps me on track. And so I usually start off the list with something that I've already done or that I'm doing currently. And so if I start my to-do list at 10 a.m. and the first thing that I'm going to put on my list is make a list. And that honestly helps me start off the day feeling more accomplished and more motivated that I actually have gotten something done. So my second type of list is more just a checklist. And I just put little check boxes, and when something's done, I put a little check that something's accomplished. And as with the other list, I usually start off with something that I have accomplished or I'm about to accomplish, such as making my bed in the morning or going to work out. And that makes me feel as if I've already accomplished something for the day, and there's just not so many things to get done. And that's really motivating. Also, don't put so many things on your to-do list. Be reasonable with yourself. Another tip, and this is my fourth tip, is to start with the most important task. And so if you know you need to turn in an assignment at 10 a.m. or whatever time, put that thing at the top of your to-do list. Or if you know you need anything done by the end of the day, or if you know you need to send an important email, try to get that done early, because you will, number one, you'll have the most important thing out of the way, so that later in the day it wouldn't be like, oh, I forgot I had this thing to do, or I just ran out of time and I didn't get this done. you will have already done the most important thing. And so if you have something that carries over, it's not something that isn't supposed to carry over, if that makes sense. My fifth tip for being a better steward of your time is to go to sleep at a reasonable hour, not 3 o'clock in the morning, even if you may be an insomniac. Going to sleep at a regular time and on a schedule is important for, first and foremost, your health. And it also helps your brain function better if you go to sleep at a normal sleeping hour. And so in quarantine, I usually go to sleep around 11 to 12, midnight. And that's later than I would, during the school year. But I give myself a break first and foremost because it's the summertime. And I tend to watch shows later into the evening. And so just come up with a schedule that works for you. But staying up all in hours of the night into the wee hours of the morning is probably not the best way to use your time. And you'll likely wake up tired and not really want to do anything. And sometimes you might wake up in the afternoon and then half your day is gone. And so go to sleep at a normal and reasonable time and try to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I personally get like 9 to 10 hours of sleep, and that's just what I know that my body needs to function properly or optimally. So you kind of know how much sleep your body needs to get up and feel like you can be productive that day. So going along with that, my sixth tip is to set a wake up time. And so if you need an alarm to wake up, set an alarm. And so I know during this time I've set an alarm for myself, and so I wake up during weekdays at 9 a.m. and that is way later than I usually wake up. During this semester, I usually wake up at 7 a.m. It gives me time to wake up, work out, eat breakfast, and get to class by 9 or 9:30, depending on what my class is. My seventh tip is don't multitask. Multitasking is a myth. It's not really a real thing. You kind of just do things not really at the same time. You just do one and then the other, and you think it's seamless, but you can't really multitask. And so stop trying to do things at the same time. So I try to limit my television to the evening. I won't turn on the television until after 4 p.m. That's what I've come up with for my quarantine schedule. I won't watch TV before 4 p.m. and that works fine for me. And doing something like trying to watch TV while you're supposed to be writing an email or writing a paper or studying, you're not going to be really effective or efficient. You can't do either of those things to the best of your ability if you're trying to do two things at the same time. You're not even going to be watching the show completely because you're trying to do work while you're doing it. And so stop multitasking and single task. Do the task that you know you need to get done at that time, and then allot another time to do that other task you want to do. And if it is watch TV, then plan to watch TV at a time after you've accomplished the most important things on your to-do list. My eighth tip is to give yourself a time limit. And this kind of goes back to your daily to-do list. So if you know you need to send an email, allot 15 minutes to send that email. If you know you need to write a paper or you're working on a long-term project like I am right now, I'm trying to write a review paper, that's something I schedule writing for 2 hours in each day with like a 15-minute break in the middle of that. And so this schedule for how I'm going to write and get stuff done is helpful so I don't kind of do too much one day and feel really unmotivated the next day. And it helps me get more things done. So if I know that I have 10 things on my to-do list today, that I can't spend 6 hours doing one task because I won't get the other things done. Also, don't put that many things on your to-do list. That's kind of a lot. My ninth tip is to don't strive for perfection. Honestly, if you won't turn something in or you won't complete something because you need it to be absolutely perfect, first and foremost, you will probably be disappointed a lot. Perfectionism, it can make your work really good, but it can also hinder how much you get done. And so we are our toughest critics, and I believe that of myself. And so I believe that I'm harder on myself than my boss is on me. He'll tell me something is great, that I wrote something really good, and then and then I'll see my writing with, you know, his corrections on it, and then I'm really sad because it's full of red, and I'm like, how could this be great work if there's so many errors with it? Or I have to turn in an abstract and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, this doesn't sound good. Try to be okay with good enough. And I don't mean do the minimum effort, but I mean do a good job. Because if you know that something's going to be edited or someone else is going to look at it after you, it doesn't need to be perfect for them, but they need to have an idea of how you work. And so start somewhere. And something I do that gives me peace of mind is I title things draft 1, draft 2, draft 3. And so that you, first off, I'm telling you that it's a draft, so don't look at it with really harsh eyes, but it's honestly for myself. So I know that, hey, Kennedy, you know, it's not perfect, but it's a draft and you'll get there. You're not there right now, but you'll get there eventually. And so that's just a tip for me that helps me stop being a perfectionist and try to get more done. My 10th tip is to schedule breaks and relaxation time. And so I told you my quarantine schedule ends at about 4 o'clock in the day, unless I have a meeting that runs slightly over that. I am done at that time, so I do not work late into the evenings because that's just not the time that I work best. And if you need to adjust your schedule to fit best with your productivity time, then do that. But schedule breaks in there. So I told you when I am planning to write for this review paper that I'm writing, I schedule in a 15-minute break before I even start because I know that 2 hours straight of writing is exhausting. And so in that time, I might make myself a snack or play on my phone for a little while. But I'm also going to go back to writing because I'm giving myself a break so that I can be renewed and be refocused. You might need to try the Pomodoro method where you study for some amount of time and then you take a break for a certain amount of time. And also, don't work every single day of the week. Schedule time in for yourself. If you don't need to work on Saturday and Sunday, then don't. Schedule time in for relaxation, for breaks, just to have some peace of mind and recuperate and recover and feel recharged for the next week. So my 11th tip is to try something new and try to train the other side of your brain. If you're a grad student, you're probably an analytical person. I know that I am. And so I try to do something else with my time every once in a while. I really like to paint, coming up with different ideas of paintings that I want to do, or new recipes that I want to try, or just dancing around because I really love to dance and sing. I can't sing, but I love to sing. It's really relaxing for me and stimulating in a way that's not usually accomplished by my schoolwork. And so those are things that I like to do. So my 12th and final tip is to exercise. Exercising, I feel like I don't need to tell you the benefits of exercising. It's so good for your brain, it's so good for your heart, it's so good for your soul, and it helps you be a more productive person. Figuring out what exercising looks like for you is something that I found a little challenging, but also rewarding. And so I try to run 3 days a week, and I also do some workout videos. I also do yoga. I go on walks with my family, relaxing in that way, fueling your body to be in optimum condition is also a great way to be productive and manage your time. And so those are my tips on time management. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe and leave a comment down below if you have an idea for a video you want to see. Great talking to you. See you in the next one.